my YouTube channel, The Printing Bureau. Today I'm going to do the usual, which is give you some forecasts for the week. Before we get into that, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that when we obviously put out a video, you know it's out there. And also click the like button if you like the content, and also if it's giving you some alpha, then do that for us, as obviously helps us a lot in terms of the YouTube algorithms, getting the message out to a lot of people. So let's get into it. Let's go into the equity markets first. So let's go to gold. Let's go and have a look at gold and see what gold is doing. We always start from a higher time frame. So if you look at gold, energy flow is to the downside. I think we've had a bit of a pop-up here, which is normal. I mean, when you fall 3 weeks in a row, you expect a bounce up, which is exactly what we've got. So there's nothing new there, but the energy flow is down. So we do expect that gold will continue to go down. I think gold will rise a little bit because obviously, you know, we've got buyers in the market. That's why the candle is green. So you're going to have a bit of push up in price, maybe back to the 9-day moving average. So we'll probably have a rise to about 2340. 2340 rise. So if you wanted to short this, 2340 will be your entry, and you'll be looking for a target of about 2,275, 2,275, somewhere there is where you'll be looking for. 75, somewhere there, yeah, and that should be a good target for the week. I mean, if you want to be conservative, then you probably go for about somewhere there, which is 2,300 as a target. So between 2,300 and 2,275, anywhere there, I think is a take profit zone for me. So that is gold. Let's move on to the next one. GBPUSD. GBPUSD, on the weekly chart, you can see that if I make this a little bit bigger, you can see we put a very horrible rejection candle there, and energy flow is beginning to start to move to the downside. I think GBPUSD will fall down a bit more. I think the 1.262 area, 1.263, 1.262 area probably falls there. But I think on open we probably will go up a little bit, just a slight move to the upside, maybe to about, I'll probably say, you know, 1.27, 1.27, because if you go back to say the 4-hour chart, for example, you can see that we do have a rejection candle here. So you know, you can expect a bit of a move to the upside, a little bit of a move to the upside. So 127 probably, if we're lucky, 127 as an entry point. If we get that, that'll be really good. And we then expect that, you know, we'll continue our journey down to the 1.263 area, 1.262 area will be the target for GBPUSD, profit taking target. Let's look at the XPX. XPX energy flow is to the upside. If we draw a trend line, probably from here, connected through there, and you can see that we will be hitting resistance very soon. Yeah. So if we extend that and we say there, put it somewhere there. You know, that here, that's a weekly chart, and that's a trend line on a weekly chart. So, you know, cuts through there, and we're probably likely to hit resistance here. So although we're on an uptrend, I think we get into a place where we'll be due a correction back, maybe to the 20-day moving average at some point. But energy flow is still to the upside. So, you know, on open, we would expect, you know, I think, you know, it will fall, maybe pull back slightly, you know, on the XPX, but I think ultimately goes up some more, and probably goes up to a target of 5,000 5,445 is where I would, maybe to a double top, probably slightly higher. So maybe 5,400 and between 5,445 and 5,060, somewhere there, is where you would expect that the XPX will fall to, will rise to. So that's SPX, and we expect a small pullback and then a rise to between 5,445 and 5,460, and then it probably hits the trend line somewhere there, maybe 5,070, and then of course corrects back to either the 9-day moving average. The 9-day moving average will also continue to move up, so maybe they meet somewhere here, a pullback there. But we'll pick it up as the weeks unfold. That will be the target for XPX. Let's look at US crude oil. So crude oil, obviously we've got quite a bullish candle there. Energy flow is definitely being pushed to the upside. So I do expect that there might be a slight pullback, because the bears are trying to push price down. If we go to 4 hours, we will see that kind of push down. So as you can see, they're trying to push price down, but we do have a bit of a bullish candle forming here. So even if we come down, it'll be very small. So I think, crude oil, best case scenario, we pull, maybe we pull down to somewhere there, 7.8, 30, maybe 7.830, 7.830, and then we continue our journey to the upside, maybe retest somewhere there, which would be 7.9. So 7.9 will be our target for, let's go back to the weekly chart. 7.9, 100 will be our target for the week. Yeah, so 7.830 to 7.900, quite a good target for oil. Now I think oil potentially goes up very high. It goes up higher and retests probably the previous high here. But we have to play, week in, week out. We take what we get on a weekly basis and we move on and we come back for more. So that's for crude oil. And let's look at the rest of the stuff we've got. So let's talk about the US 10-year. Let me minimize this so we've got a bigger chart. And we've got energy flow to downside now. I think if we step back to 4 hours, there's a bit of a push down, a push up. So maybe it pushes itself back up to about 415. 415 rises to about rises to 430, maybe 424, 430. You could even hit this. So 428, 430 area rises up to that point, and then continue the journey down. So would expect a rise in the US 10-year, 425 to 430, and then a fall to 415. So we would expect a fall back to 415. 415 would be somewhere there. 415 will be somewhere down here. So somewhere down here is where we'd expect the US 10-year to fall to. I think the US 10-year will ultimately go down and come and break this neck at some point, but we'll cover it on a week-by-week basis. Yeah. So let's look at the next one. We've got the Dixie. Now, obviously, Dixie, it's one of those that has done a beautiful move in the last 2 weeks. So we had this move here, start from here, we moved up. I think the bears have stepped in and they're selling it down. I think ultimately, if we step down to 4 hours, you can see the kind of selling pressure playing out there. So it could rise up. The Dixie probably bounces up a little bit to I think maybe 105, somewhere there, 105, 1. At best maybe 1052. It bounces somewhere there, and then continues its journey down, and you would expect it to come down to the 104.82. So 104.82, 104.82, somewhere there is where we expect it to be. 104.84, 104.82, somewhere there is where we expect the Dixie to fall to. And I think, the Dixie, obviously, we're going to have a golden cross on the Dixie. So, of course, we are going to bleed into that golden cross. And then when we bled into the golden cross, we would then have a move up. So, the Dixie will go up further. On that basis, it will go up further and exceed this point. But there will be a pull down first before we go up. So, this pull down could be very useful and beneficial for, risk on assets like, Bitcoin and stocks and equities. They will do well whilst the dollar pulls back into that kind of 104.8 area, or here, somewhere there. It will, as it pulls down to this area, they will get a bit of a bounce, and then when it kind of starts this journey back up again, obviously they will all fall down again. So that is worth noting, because obviously when we start talking about some of those assets, it becomes useful. Let's look at EURUSD. So EURUSD, you can see that the EURUSD on the weekly chart, let's go to the weekly chart, we've got energy flow to the downside. The bulls have stepped in and they are obviously buying. So I think, on open, we probably go up first. So we will go up first. We'll rise to about 1.074, somewhere here. There, we'll rise to somewhere there. Because if you go to 4 hours and you step down, you can see there's bullish action happening here. So this probably comes back to about 1075, 1074. And then we continue our journey down. We'll continue our journey down, and it will fall to 1.071. So our target is 1.07, 1.071. So about where we are now after the bounce to the upside, for the week. But I think ultimately this will fall down some more as the dollar rises. This falls down some more. So we'll watch that, and obviously we'll give you updates as we go, week on, week in, week out. So target in terms of rise is 1.074 and a fall to 1.070 or 1.071, whichever one you choose, somewhere there. Let's then go to and talk about crypto. For the crypto lovers out there, let's look at Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin is doing. So let's minimize that. So we've got, let's get this bigger here so you can see. So as you can see, so we've kind of, we hit the high, we retrace back, and then we try to go again, and we've been kind of rejected. And what we're forming here, this candle, it will be a red candle for the week, no doubt about that. We may push back slightly. I think there is potential for us to push up slightly, and maybe hit the 67K, 67,500. So Bitcoin could rise to about 67K, 67,500 area, and then we would expect a continuation to the downside. I think, the fall for me is where I've marked it on my calendar. It's like 60 on my chart, is 60, between 61 and 62K will be the target for this week. 61 to 62K, or maybe 61 to 63K, 61 to 63K, somewhere there is where we would fall for this week on Bitcoin. And that will give us, it won't be finished. I don't expect that will be the end. I think, ultimately, I think Bitcoin comes to the kind of 61K mark, somewhere there, 61K. And at that point, if the bulls are really, really G'd up, then yes, we could have some kind of bounce from there. But we'll cover it, you know, and as you can see, I'll put it on there. I'll look for a long trade on BTC if we get the right setup in terms of the support and in terms of a higher low. Then yes, I would definitely be looking for a long trade. But I've marked it there on my chart just to remind myself. So that's Bitcoin. Let's go and look at some other altcoins. I want to talk about ONDO. So ONDO here. So ONDO, as you can see, we've got energy flow to the downside, right? Selling volume is increasing week in, week out. So definitely this goes down. There's a bit of buying pressure pushing price up. I don't expect that to last. I think, you know, it probably rises back up to maybe 130. It can rise up to 130, 131, somewhere there. But then roll over all the way back down to the 105 area. That's where I'll expect it to land for this week. So 105 as a full target for you on ONDO. And if you want to trade it, then of course, you know, your entry, you should be looking for an entry around the 129, 130, somewhere there. And that will be a really good, juicy weekly trade as well. So that's ONDO for you. Let's look at FET. FET on the weekly chart, again, energy flows to the downside. Volume is increasing in terms of selling. So we're going to go down some more on FET. There's a bit of a bounce in terms of buying pressure. So I do expect that FET will rise before that. So if you want to short this, then, you know, you'll be looking for entry around the 150, 1.58, 1.59, 1.58, 1.59 area, somewhere here. I mean, you could do two entries if you wanted to. 1.58, maybe 1.6 if we're lucky to get there. And then it continues its journey. I think, you know, FET will fall down this week to the low 20s. So, you know, 120, 125. I think that's where, you know, between 120 and 125 is where I would expect FET to land this week. Yeah, so 125, somewhere there. Yeah, somewhere here. 25, somewhere there is where I would expect FET to hit. But ultimately, I think, you know, potentially it comes all the way down to, you know, at least the 50-day moving average, which is $1, just shy of $1, $1.05. But I think we take it on a week-by-week basis. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next altcoin I want to cover, which is JASMY. So JASMY, where's my JASMY? JASMY. Okay, here we go. So JASMY, now let's have a look. So JASMY, again, we've got energy flow to the downside. You know, we've got selling volume coming into the market, as you can see here. We've got a bit of, you know, push up in price because the bulls still want to push price up. But so long as this candle stays red, you know, we are going to be going down. If you want to short this, then of course, you know, your entry should be probably around the 0.375 area, 0.38 area, you know, somewhere there is where I would expect it to rise first and then continue the journey down. Yeah, so that will be for JASMY. Let's look at so 1.4 on JASMY to 1.2, 0.028 to 0.029. That's where JASMY will fall for the week, but a rise to the, you know, 0.036 or 7 area first before the fall. That's JASMY for you. I also want to cover PEPE. So PEPE, for the lovers of PEPE out there, let's cover PEPE. So PEPE, again, we've got energy flow to the downside. You know, selling volume is increasing. So PEPE will also go down lower. But, you know, there's a lot of bullish action happening in terms of people trying to push the price up. So, you know, and we've fallen 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row. So, you know, it's possible we bounce, and, you know, we bounce up to maybe, you know, double top 13.8, maybe to 14.2 first. I mean, before, you know, or, you know, it could also be that we bounce to somewhere here. So I think anywhere, if you want an entry, anywhere between 13.2, and, you know, above 13.2 is okay for an entry to bring you back down. And I think the target in terms of, you know, a fall is 11. So we expect ourselves to come back to 11. I think we'll go below this peak, but, you know, for the weekly target, I think we expect a rise of, you know, to the 14 between 13, 12, 8 and 13 area, you know, 13.7, 13.8, somewhere there, and then you fall back down below the peak here. But, you know, I'm a conservative trader, so, you know, I probably will go, you know, 11 for my target. But if you want bigger targets, then of course, yes, you are very likely to go below the peak. So that's PEPE. Let's talk about Solana. So Solana, we've got so Solana is obviously got energy flow to the downside. We've been falling one, two. Well, I mean, this is equal. So 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row down. This body candle here, the bears are in charge. Although the bulls are trying to push price up, you know, I don't expect them to be successful. Volume is pretty steady in terms of the volume of selling. And so I do expect this to continue coming down, but I mean, we might rise back up a little bit to maybe 153, 152, you know, a rise to the 150, you know, 153 area, and then we will fall to the 128 area. So as you can see, I've got a buy price there. I'm hoping we'll get a bounce off this point here, but we'll have to obviously wait and see and get confirmation. So we'll pick it up on a week by week, but I've marked it there in my chart just in case, just to remind myself of what is likely to happen. I've had this there for a very long time. So that's Solana. Let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, again, energy flow to the downside. We've had 3 weeks in a row of going down. So, you know, normally when you have 3 weeks in a row, you tend to have a little bit of a bounce, right? So it's possible that we bounce above to somewhere here. So I won't be surprised if we hit 3,700 on Ethereum in the coming week. It may well be that we don't, and it may just be that we just hit 3,650 somewhere there. So I think for me, the rise, you know, 3,568, you know, 3,535, I would say 3,568, you know, anything above 3,568. I think we're already there, actually. We're already there. And I think, you know, obviously, I think it will go up further because I'm recording this video on Saturday, 4:50, you know, GMT time. So tomorrow, we got tomorrow as well. So I think it's best to probably aim for slightly above the body of the candle because the kind of rejection of lower price is high, but the volume is obviously strong. So you will obviously come down. So I think, you know, for the week, we expect a fall on Ethereum to the 3,400 area, you know, 3,400. We could drop all the way to 3,250. So 3,250 to 3,400, somewhere there I expect Ethereum to fall. So this could be a really good juicy trade if you get your entry right. So that's Ethereum for you there. And then I will talk about SUKU. SUKU. So SUKU is one of the coins that obviously I'm buying for my spot bag. It's not trading, it's spot bag. It's been falling week in, week out. And it's obviously we're on a weekly chart and we've come back to the 50-day moving average and we seem to be getting some kind of bullish rejection of lower price. If we step back to 4 hours, and if I just close this, you can see that the bulls have stepped in. You know, there's some bullish action going on. You can see a strong rejection of the lower price here. So at the very least, I think, you know, it rises up to the 11 mark for me. I think, you know, and whether that is, you know, it rises to the 11 mark, 11 somewhere here, you know, rises up to there. And then we see whether actually it can get energy to continue. I mean, it could rise all the way up to this point, 13, even 13, 12, 13 before. But we'll have to monitor it on a week in, week out basis. You know, I'm just collecting this. I thought this was an area, good area to collect some of the coins, which I've done. And, you know, it could ultimately come down some more. It could come down and, you know, test somewhere around the 0.505, 05, low 05s before we actually get a slingshot. So the base here, somewhere here, of 550, I just mark that on my chart just to remind myself. Somewhere there, you know, is probably where it will land, but we'll get a bullish move to the upside, maybe upside first before. But this is a spot trade for me. It's not a leverage trade. So you know, I'm keeping this for the next big rise to the upside. Okay, so that's SUKU. And then I've got TRUE. So I want to talk about TRUE. So this coin here, TRUE, you can see the weekly chart. We've got energy flow to the downside. You know, there's some bulls trying to push price up, but I don't think they're going to succeed. I think on Monday, probably, depending on where the candle is, we might rise up slightly. So I do expect a rise first to about the 202, somewhere 202, 204 maximum, and then continue the journey down. And I expect us to come to somewhere around the 17.2 area by the end of the week. We could go lower, but you know, like I said, I'm a very conservative trader. So 17.2, I think we will get that, and that will be a really juicy trade from about 20.02 to 17.2. That will be a really profitable trade. So that's TRUE for you there. Let's look at RNDR. So RNDR, I want to talk about RNDR as well. Guys, if you're enjoying this alpha that I'm giving you, please subscribe. You know, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and you know, let's get more of this content out. Okay, so RNDR, again, energy flows to the downside. You know, got a bit of bulls pushing price up, but I don't think they'll be successful on this one. We may rise to about 840, 850 tops, and then continue our journey down. We'll fall to about the 740, 750 area. You know, 740, 750 area is where I expect this to fall to. You know, somewhere in between here, you know, 740, 750 is where I expect us to fall on RNDR. So RNDR also could be a very nice juicy trade as well. Let's look at SEI. So SEI, let's go and look at SEI. I'll give you SEI as well. Talk about SEI. So SEI, as you can see, we've got energy flow to the downside. We've had some, you know, attempts to try and go up, but they've all been failed attempts. I think SEI looks quite strong for me in terms of the correction will be, you know, over in a very short period of time. You can see I've drawn my, you know, line. This is the 50% retrace from the top. I think we'll probably hit somewhere here, 3.6. I have a target for the week on SEI of 0.36 to 0.38. That's where we fall to. I think we'll rise first because the bulls are trying to push price up. So I think we'll rise up first. If we go to 4 hours, now have a look, you see that the bulls are trying to push price up. So, and I think they will push price up a bit more, maybe to the 4, between the 4.4 and 4.6 area. 4.4 and 4.6 rise, and then you get your push down, final push down, maybe to 0.36, 0.3, between 0.36 and 0.38. And that would be another great area if you are looking to buy. It would be a great area to buy. So I definitely will be buying at that price. So that's SEI for you. Let me give you BONK, one last altcoin, maybe the last but one. I'll give you another one as well. So BONK on a weekly chart, energy flow is to the downside. Let me move my fib retrace. Okay, I'll leave it there. Actually, quite useful. You know, energy flow to the downside. I think we're getting a bit of a bulls trying to push price up, but I don't think they'll be successful. Similarly, like what happened here, the only thing that we need to be careful about is volume is drying out. So selling volume is drying out. So we've got to take note of that. But I think we'll come down some more. So I think it probably rises to 2.7, 2.7 maximum. If we're lucky, 2.7, maybe 2.8 if you're lucky, and then roll over and come below to about, I'll say 2.0. 2.0 is where I'll put it. 2.021, 2.021 on BONK. 2.021, 2.2. Anywhere there is a good area to take profit. Between 2.0 and 2.2, you can take profit there. I think I'll be doing that anyway. This is obviously just what I'm doing, so you can do whatever you want. This is not financial advice, and it's not something you have to do. It's just me sharing what I'm doing for those who want to take advantage of it. Okay, so that's say, and then the last coin I want to talk about is Waves. This Waves coin keeps falling. I think it's falling a lot. It's back to well below the base of where it came to, and this particular week selling volume is drying out. You can see look at that last week and compare it to this. So selling volume is drying out. So it could have a really strong bounce. I don't think we'll have the bounce just yet. I mean, if we step down to 4 hours and have a look, we will get a bounce. But the bounce probably takes us back up to maybe 127, 127. And if it's able to break the 127, then of course, you're heading straight to $2, which would be a big move. I think this week target for me on Waves, I think Waves target would be to hit that 0.25. So if you buy it somewhere around here, maybe you buy it around 1.07, 1.05, and then you run it all the way to 1.25, and you take profit, and then you see what happens, whether actually it continues, it pulls back down again, retest 19, 18, and then sling off to some higher prices. So that is all I've got for you guys. Obviously, I'm recording this video on Saturday, and we still got Saturday night. We've still got Sunday in terms of price action. So if anything changes, then of course I'll probably tweet it. And if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Akenswa, look for me on Twitter. That's where probably I'll post any urgent updates. So have a good week, and I will provide a midweek update in terms of some of the targets. I'll actually review all the targets by Friday for you to see where we are. Okay, God bless. Bye.